What's going on, everybody? This is Joe.
And Amy.
And we have been loving this, so we are back with another MTG Arena video and some more traditional draft Theros Beyond Death. Last time, you should watch, but we did pretty okay with that Rakdos deck. What do you say? So, we're going to get right back into it and do it again. Yes, I would love to purchase that item. Okay, let's go like this. Well, speaking of a Rakdos deck, but actually this pack seems pretty okay. We have Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths as our rare.
Oh.
2 blue-black for a 3/2 with Menace. And when it enters the battlefield, target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of our library and separates them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. We get one of those piles into our hand, and the other goes into our graveyard.
That sounds stupid.
It is quite stupid. I will also say, for anyone that is new to the channel, we are not here to do this quickly. We are going to take our time. This entire video is going to be us drafting and then making the deck. So if that's not the kind of thing for you, I apologize, but thanks for stopping by. But yeah, if you're interested in hearing our thought process all the way through, I am going to be here giving a little bit more tips and tricks and hints. And Amy is going to be here kind of exploring the format a little bit further, right?
Yeah.
So.
But you could, yeah. If this video isn't really your type of video, you can just skip it and move to the part where we actually play.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, Atris. I mean, it's a 3/2 with Menace for 4, but its second ability is very weird because your opponent gets to look at all those cards, and
yeah, that's really dumb. That's real dumb.
We have the Mischievous Chimera.
That's a good card, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes, it is a blue and a red for a 2/2 flyer, and whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, Mischievous Chimera deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you scry 1.
Yeah, that's good.
Then there's the Slaughter Priest of Mogis. It's a Rakdos, black and red for a 2/2. Whenever we sack a permanent, this gets +2/+0 until end of turn. And then, if we have no other ways to do it, we can tap 2, sacrifice another creature or an enchantment, and Slaughter Priest of Mogis gains first strike until end of turn. And because we've sacked something, it will also inherently get +2/+0.
Okay. I like the art on that one. It's very cartoony.
Yeah. But also, Amy, we have the Entrancing Liar.
Oh, we're picking that.
3 mana artifact. You may choose not to untap it during your untap step. X, tap it, tap target creature with power X or less. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as Entrancing Liar remains tapped.
Yeah, we're picking that one.
Okay. It leaves us open. We can literally take anything out of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have quite the options.
Oh.
So, 1 with the stars, we've talked about not loving. 3 and a blue for an enchantment aura, enchant creature, or enchantment. Enchanted permanent is an enchantment and loses all other card types.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Yes, so basically the benefit here is you put this on a creature, it's not a creature anymore, it can't attack or block. But if it has activated abilities, it can still use them. So, like, this would be completely useless. It would just be an enchantment, not a creature. But it would be 6 mana that they used to play it, and then it would be nothing.
Right.
But if you used it on this, they could still use they would still get the benefit whenever a land card is put into their graveyard. They would still gain a life, and they could still tap 2 and a green and put the top card of their library into their graveyard. Yeah. It just wouldn't be a 2/2 creature anymore.
It's just not my favorite.
Fair. But the rare is missing out of this pack, so that was one of our 3 uncommons. Our second is Gary, the Gray Merchant of Asphodel. 3 black for a 2/4. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. So automatically, you pay 5 mana, he's a 2/4, and you, at minimum, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. But if you have any other black pips on any of your permanents, it's more than that.
I love that card.
It's a great card. And then the third uncommon is Hydra's Growth.
Which is also very good.
2 and a green for an enchant creature. When it enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on the enchanted creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, you double the number of +1/+1 counters on enchanted creature. So, even just out of these 3, because I mean also there's the Sunmane Pegasus.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fish next to it.
And the Ichthyomorphosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good stuff here.
That black card down there, too, is good, if I'm recalling.
Well, we ran into some trouble with this guy in the last video. You can check that one out. This card's not bad at all. It's 5 mana, but it's a 5/4 creature, and it buffs something when it comes in, so even if this dies, shortly thereafter, at least it got to do something beneficial.
I don't know, there's a lot of great cards here. Because even these that don't really do that much are still just big creatures. I mean...
True. So, thankfully, like I said, we've left ourselves open. We can literally take anything. Because Entrancing Lyre goes in almost any deck, but obviously any color of deck.
Yeah.
But like if you're trying to be aggressive, this is not the best deck to be in, but I don't think any of these, I mean, maybe Hydra's Growth, but none of these really lend themselves to like a hyper aggressive strategy. So, do you want some advice? Do you want to, why don't you narrow it down for me? What are you toying between?
Hydra's Growth, the Gary, and the ichthyomorphos thing.
Ichthyomorphosis.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, I would be able to first eliminate Hydra's Growth.
Okay.
So, you've heard me talk about card advantage in the past.
Yes.
So, the reason why auras are not as good is because if you try to play Hydra's Growth on your creature, let's say your Skola Grove Dancer.
Okay.
And they play a card that says deal 3 damage to target creature at instant speed. They've now killed your Skola Grove Dancer, and you've lost your Hydra's Growth, because now Hydra's Growth can't target it because it's dead.
Oh.
So they have now essentially 2 for 1'd you, meaning you've lost 2 cards for them only having spent 1 card. So I would be able to eliminate this one. Whereas, again, with Ichthyomorphosis, that is being used on their creature. So if they would kill the target of this, it's their creature that is being targeted. Right. So, now again, if they make their creature like indestructible or not indestructible, but like have protection from blue or something, which I don't think is in this set, but just as an example, then this wouldn't work at all. But then it's a 1-for-1. They've used 1 card to make their creature pro-blue, and we've used Ichthyomorphosis, right? So it's still only a 1-for-1, so that's why Ichthyomorphosis in that instance is better than Hydra's Growth. Okay. But you also have Gary.
Yeah. And he is really good.
He's very good.
But you have to have devotion to black.
Right. So you'll be kind of marrying yourself to at least black, if not black and another color, of course. But that's fine. I mean, and also you can hope that like Altar of the Pantheon or something wheels, because Altar of the Pantheon says your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is increased by 1.
And I think we probably could.
I would think so.
Depend on that wheeling. All right. So. All right. Yeah, and I feel like finding another Gary is going to be difficult, while finding another Ichthyomorphosis is
much closer.
Probably going to be a bit easier.
I would agree, because common versus uncommon, yeah. Okay, so Gary it is then.
Okay.
Well, it sure is easier to find another Ichthyomorphosis, I tell you what. This pack, though, is very much leaning towards a particular I don't know if you could notice what color I might be referring to. But we have Gary. The only other black card in this pack is the Fruit of Tizerus.
Which is terrible.
Correct. In terms of uncommons, there's still 2 uncommons left. There's the Nessian Hornbeetle.
Which I love.
Yes, it is 1 and a green for a 2/2 insect. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control another creature with power 4 or greater, you put a +1/+1 counter on Nessian Hornbeetle. There's the Nessian Wanderer, 1 and a green for a 1/3. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a land from among them, put it into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in a random order. That's it for the uncommons. Then the commons are like a Hero of the Pride, 2 mana 2/2 with the Hero ability. So when it gets targeted, everything gets +1/+0 on your side. Ichthyomorphosis, as we talked about. I know that you enjoy the Nylea's Forerunner as well.
I do.
So there's that. 5 mana, 5/3 trample. Other creatures you control have trample. Relentless Pursuit is not bad. 2 and a green, reveal the top 4. You may put a creature and or land from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. But yeah, I would say between like the Hornbeetle, the Wanderer, Ichthyomorphosis, and Nylea's Forerunner. You got to take your choice between those 4, unless something else really stands out to you that I've kind of glossed over.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think here?
That is a good question. I was hoping that you would not make me have to say something about it and that you would pick for me. No, that's fine. In a typical draft, this pack is terrifying because all that you're doing is looking at all these great green cards that you want. You're going to take one, pass the rest, and you're saying to your opponent next to you, by the way, green is open.
Right.
Because you're leaving Wanderer, Forerunner, Caryatid, Skirmisher, Pursuit, and or Hornbeetle in the pack.
Right.
And so they're seeing all of that and going, wow, green must be really open. Mm-hmm. So you could, like, try to cut blue, but we're not seeing a lot of blue.
Right.
This pack, we may just be unlucky, and it was just very heavy green. That's tough.
Yeah.
I think we have more of a chance of seeing more of these later.
Okay.
Than we do of seeing more of these or these or these later.
Okay. But does that matter?
Well, let me ask you a different question. I'll Socratic method it to you and turn your question into a question.
Okay.
You have 2 green cards and a blue card here on the top row, if you will. Of course, once you're done with the uncommons, the row doesn't matter of the commons, but you've got these 2 green uncommons and then this blue common that you like and this other green common that you like.
Yeah.
Which color combo would you prefer to play? Blue-black or black-green? If you got to choose.
Black-green.
Okay, because black-green allows you to be a little bit more attacky and combat trick based as opposed to blue-black, which is a lot more control heavy. Mm-hmm. You know? So, okay, so that makes sense. So then between the Hornbeetle, the Wanderer, and the Forerunner, what are you feeling? What stands out to you?
I like the Forerunner best.
Okay.
But if you think that there's more of a chance that we'll see that later, then maybe we should be taking one of the uncommons.
Okay, so which of these uncommons stands out to you then?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the Hornbeetle is so, like, I don't know. You have to actually have stuff that's power 4 or greater.
Sure.
The other one, I feel like it's such a long description that my brain turns off halfway through.
Okay, so what it basically says is you need constellation. So you need to be playing enchantments.
Oh, okay.
And that can include enchantment creatures, of course, but you need to be playing enchantments. And when you play an enchantment, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library. If you have a land among those top 3 cards, you take it and put it into your hand, and then those other cards go on the bottom. So what you want to be doing with the Wanderer is going through your whole deck, pulling out every last one of your lands, and then drawing nothing but gas while you have 1,000,000 lands. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you're playing enchantments, getting land out of your deck, which means you're not drawing them on your turn, and then whatever you draw on your turn, you're going to be able to play because you're getting land in your hand and you're hitting your land drops every turn.
Yeah.
Because you've played this on turn 2.
That seems really good.
But either one of them, they're both 2-drops. One's a 2/2, one's a 1/3. Either one of them means that you're going to be more highly prioritizing other things. So here you're going to be prioritizing bigger creatures, power 4 or greater, and here you're going to be prioritizing enchantments. Which would you prefer to be going for? Bigger creatures or enchantments?
I usually favor enchantments more.
Okay. Because again, that's enchantment creatures and or enchant creatures. So Nylea's Forerunner, for example, is an enchantment creature, and it would trigger this.
Oh, okay. Would it also work for the Hornbeetle?
Yep, it sure would.
Cool.
And it would give both of these guys trample. Although this one, we care more about it having trample than this one, but still. This is a better blocker than this. This wants to attack, this wants to block.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, let's pick the Wanderer, I think.
You got it. Okay.
Oh.
Well, we are still looking at black and green, which is good. If we're looking at our uncommons, there's a white card, which we probably don't care about. There's this Mystic Repeal, which is a great card.
Okay.
1 green mana instant, put target enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It's quite good. Flicker of Fate is irrelevant. Memory Drain's irrelevant. Witness of Tomorrows. There's a Blight Breath, Catoblepus, Catoblepas, whatever you say. 6 mana, 3/2, and it cares about Black Devotion. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to black. So you basically pay 6 mana for a 3/2 creature and kill something. Hopefully.
Yeah. And that goes along with our Gary.
Correct. So then we have Mogus's Favor, which is a good card. It's black, so it works with Gary because it's an enchantment, so it's got 1 black pip for devotion.
Okay.
Plus it's an enchantment. So it works with the Nessian Wanderer, who wants you to play enchantments.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got escape. So if we get it out of our graveyard, that counts as playing an enchantment. You play it for the first time, and then if you put it on something that then dies at any point after the fact, it's going to go to your graveyard, and then it gets to come out of your graveyard, and you play another enchantment. So it works with your Constellation on your Wanderer.
Cool.
All right? This guy has 2 black pips. He's a 4/3 creature. I don't think he's as good as the Catoblepus. But yeah, and then technically there's Gift of Strength, but again, I don't think that's as good as this or this.
Definitely
or
not.
this. So out of the Mystic Repeal, the Catoblepas, or the Mogus's Favor, what stands out to you?
The Catoblepas thing.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah, it's a little expensive, but it does great things. It can kill something, and it is 2 more pips toward devotion.
Right. That's the
and
only
these both
reason
work with
why,
each other.
To be honest with you, I think I might feel it's too expensive if it weren't for caring about pips.
Yeah, the fact that it's a 3/2 sucks, but it is basically a kill spell on a creature. So, yeah. All right. Catoblepas it is.
Okay.
God, it's so loud. Okay. Well, there's another one of your friends.
Nice.
This is not a good card, so don't even worry about this.
Okay.
There's the Scavenging Harpy, which is quite a good card.
That's good, yeah.
2/1 flyer for 3, and then you can exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Typically, you would exile a card that has escape, but if they don't have anything that has escape, you can maybe get rid of a creature if they have ways of bringing that back, or enchantments, or whatever. And the Temple Thief, which is probably the least of the 3 that we just have talked about, but still, it's 1 and a black for a 2/2 that can't be blocked by enchanted or enchantment creatures.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Temple Thief.
Right.
I really like the Harpy and Nylea's Forerunner.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Harpy an uncommon?
No, there is 1 uncommon in this pack, and it's the Shoal Kraken, which is a good card, but we're not in that color, and this shouldn't pull us into that color. But yeah, so no. Common and common.
Okay.
And notably, if this is relevant to you, please be aware of your curve. You have a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 6. And you're looking at a 3 and a 5.
Yeah.
But that's not me trying to dissuade you from this if that's what you want. This is a black pip towards devotion, but this is an enchantment.
Right.
So it's kind of both.
Oh, it's a tough one.
It sure is.
But the Harpy flies, so I gotta pick that.
Okay, flyers are good.
Flyers are good, man.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. So the Chimera came back. I think this is our
wow.
opening pack, isn't it? I don't know, actually. Maybe not.
Pack 6.
Pick 6. So no, definitely not. Okay. Well, anyway, the Chimera's here, but we're in neither of these colors now.
No.
The Field of Ruin is bad in draft, so
Okay.
no. The only thing in green is this, which is bad. Don't play it.
Okay.
The Unknown Shores is not good.
Okay.
So the real only choice is Omen of the Dead, but this is a pretty damn good card.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll take the Omen.
Okay.
It's a black pip toward devotion. It's a very good card. It gets those creatures back from the graveyard. Well, there's green,
There is.
so that's good.
Is any of it good?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about, but yeah,
Okay.
it can be. There's 1 green uncommon, which may be here for a reason, but it is 5 and a green for a sorcery at uncommon. Creatures you control, all of them, get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green.
I'm gonna say a big old nope on that.
Okay. Because right now we have 1 green pip in the whole deck.
Right.
It's Nessian Wanderer.
And even if we end up with a lot more, I'm still not willing to pay 6 for that.
Okay, fair
just
enough.
not.
Sure. We have Nexus Wardens, 3 mana for a 1/4 with Reach.
Oh.
And Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life.
Okay.
So you usually don't play it for the Constellation part. You play it because it's a 3 mana 1/4 with Reach that can block really well.
Yeah.
And then sure, if you gain a couple of life along the way, that's great. That's just, sugar on top.
Nice.
Plummet. Not
I
a
do
bad
like Plummet.
Right. I wouldn't say it's good to take it this early, but it's a very good card to have.
Right.
But 2 mana, destroy target creature with flying at instant speed. And then there is the Setessan Skirmisher, 1 and a green for a 2/1 creature with Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So that will work multiple times if you're lucky enough to have multiple enchantments enter in a turn.
Okay.
But typically you'll just be making it a 3/2, which, we've already talked about how we feel about 3/2s, but this one costs 2 mana and then can become a 3/2 every time you play an enchantment.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Between the Skirmisher, the Plummet, and the Wardens,
I think the Wardens.
I like the Wardens. Okay. Yeah. It's low enough to the ground, but it's a low enough mana cost, but it's a 1/4 creature. Like, it doesn't attack super well, but it blocks great.
And it's got reach, so.
Right, well, and that's what I mean. It blocks really well. So think about, like, the best flyer in black that I can think of that's, like, a common, right? It's a 2/1. It will not be able to attack into this. This just blocks it all day, so that's a good call. Okay, we have a Forerunner.
Yay!
We have an Aspect of Lamprey, which is 3 and a black for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards 2 cards.
Oh.
And then the creature that you put this on has lifelink.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. And then there's the Grim Physician, 1 black for a 1/1. And when Grim Physician dies, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Which means creatures with 2 toughness or less can't block this. Because if they block this, you've dealt 1 damage to the creature, and then when this creature dies, you give that creature -1/-1, and it dies as well.
This is a toughie.
Yeah.
I thought this one was going to be easy because Nylea's Forerunner came back.
Yeah. I will say, right, we talked about the kind of inherent dangers of taking enchant creatures when we saw the Hydra's growth.
Yeah.
Right? But I will say that this is an enchantment and a creature. So at least for your Constellation triggers for these two, this counts for that and is just a creature. Right. This counts, but is an enchant creature where if your creature gets targeted, this goes away and they 2-for-1 you.
Yeah.
And then there's the Grim Physician, which I would argue is a fine card. I like it a lot, and it's a 1-drop, which is very important with upside.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's better than either of these right now. Either of these is a black pip for devotion as well. But
I'm picking the Forerunner.
Okay. That is a sound decision. So I think this is our starting pack. Yes, pick 9.
Okay.
So there's the Chimera comes back again. Nobody's in those colors, apparently. Or at least those 2 colors. We have 1 black card in the Temple Thief, which you talked about not loving.
Yeah.
And the Nylea's Huntmaster. 3 and a green for a 4/3 creature. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. So you can game this slightly and say that if you ever get one of those Pantheon cards, the artifact.
Yeah, I know what you
Oh, sorry. It says that your devotion for each color increases by 1. So if you get green devotion stuff and black devotion stuff, that will help both. Altar of the Pantheon is the card I was thinking of. But anyway, especially because you usually don't love this, this is not a bad pick, I would say.
Okay.
So you're okay with this one? All right.
Sure.
Whoops. There we go. Well, interesting. First of all, there's an Altar of the Pantheon.
Nice.
There's another Nexus Wardens.
Ooh.
And there is a Skola Grove Dancer. Notably, enchantment creature.
Okay.
1 and a green for a 2/2. Whenever a land card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. And then for 2 and a green, you put the top card of your library into your graveyard. So the only way, or the main way that is good, is if you are trying to fuel escape. Which we did not take the Mogus's Favor yet, so we do not, I believe, have any escape currently. We do not. But there is a fair bit of escape in green and black if we do end up coming across it later. But you could then save this for later if you want and try to take one of these instead. That is entirely your choice.
I want the Pantheon.
Okay.
Do you think I should take the Wardens instead? Because we'll see the Pantheon again.
Well, we're not going to see this Pantheon again, but we would probably in the next 2 packs see a Pantheon again. Okay. And I don't know how many of them we would want, especially because like you can add 1 mana of any color. We currently don't have in our deck any gods, demigods, or legendary enchantments, I believe. That is correct. So, yeah, we wouldn't get the incidental 1 life every time we tap it, but it would be able to add 1 mana of any color, which is not bad in a 2-color deck. Although it's not fully necessary, the devotion is really why you'd take it. So, yeah, I would say either the Wardens or the Altar is a perfectly fine pick here.
All right, I would pick the Wardens then.
Sure. Okay, well, you have a Setessan Skirmisher. Actually, everything in this pack that's left could be picked and put in our deck. Fruit of Tizoris we know is bad, but it's black mana, so it could be done.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You have better picks. You have the Relentless Pursuit, as we talked about, 2 and a green for the sorcery. Reveal the top 4 creature and or land into your hand, rest into your graveyard. Helps fuel escape. Setessan Skirmisher, Constellation, +1/+1 until end of turn on the 2/1 for 2.
Okay.
And Bronze Sword, 1 mana for an equipment, 3 mana to equip. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. The look on your face leads me to believe that you don't love this Bronze Sword, which I will say is very good that you don't love it because it's not a great card. But I would say between the Skirmisher and the Relentless Pursuit, these are both fine choices.
The Skirmisher better?
Sure. I mean, again, it's a green pip. It's a creature. It stays on the field. Like, this lets you get a creature and or a land. So you can get both. Like, you could look at the top 4 cards and get 2 things, but it will not work every time. And you're putting other things in your graveyard, so...
Well, and I don't want to mill myself if I'm not doing an escape deck.
Right. I mean, black and green, you're probably going to find some escape things, but you don't know that yet, and so that's perfectly fine. You'll probably see more of these. So yeah, well, you'll probably see more skirmishers as well, but still, a skirmisher is just fine.
Okay.
Well, I guess we get this guy.
Yeah,
That's
he's
cool.
great.
And he's an enchantment.
Nice.
And he's 2 black pips for devotion.
Nice.
Lots of things. Well, it's either the
thief.
fog or the thief. Yeah. And the Field of Ruin goes in the sideboard. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, well, there's 1 green card that we're not taking, at least from this pack.
Yeah.
Plummet. We have the Bronze Sword again. We could take that.
No.
But we have 2 black cards and then 1 black-blue card. I don't think Devourer of Memory... I don't know why I didn't speak properly there, but I don't think Devourer of Memory is good enough to pick right now, but it is blue-black, or I don't think it's good enough to splash, I should say. For a 2/1, Nightmare creature, whenever 1 or more cards are put into your graveyard from your library, so it's all that milling we were talking about, Devourer of Memory gets +1/+1 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. Tap 1 blue and black, put the top card of your library into your graveyard.
Okay.
So that's not really what we're doing, but we could, but we don't have to.
It's interesting,
because
but I don't think we need it.
Right. No. Well, so there's Soul Reaper of Mogus as well. 2 and a black for a 2/3, and then for 2 and a black, sack a creature, you draw a card.
Which is a good card.
But there's also Woe Strider.
Which looks rad.
2 and a black, this is our rare in the pack. 2 and a black for a 3/2 horror creature. When it enters the battlefield, we get this lovely goat over here.
He's so cool.
Which our friend Dave, I know, loves. Shout out to Dave, DAM314 on Twitch. Awesome guy. You should go check him out. But he loves these goat tokens. Absolutely loves them. We can sack another creature, any other creature, and we scry 1. And this has Escape. 3 and 2 black, exile 4 other cards from our graveyard to escape it, and it escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and is a 5/4 when it escapes for 5.
All right, let's take that one.
Hey, what a good idea!
Even if I don't want to do an escape deck, this is a great card.
It's a very good card. Oh God, it's so loud. My headphones are up. Hopefully that's not too loud for all of you. I tried to not have that be the case. Okay. Hey, look, this amazing card it's so bad. It's so, why? This card is so bad.
But that building has a lady's head on it.
It sure does, but it's just a wall, and it's an 0/4 with Defender. Oh, but Joe, you get a Plains. You sure do. Thanks, Birth of Melitus. Thank God I'm not in that color. Minions return 2 and a black for an enchantment aura with flash. Enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control.
Ooh.
So you can put it on one of their creatures.
Yeah.
And then if you kill it, you get it. Or you can put it on one of yours, and if they kill it, you get it back.
Get it back.
And either way, it says return that card to the battlefield under your control. So if that card has an effect that says when this card enters the battlefield, you get that effect.
Yeah.
Correct.
I like it.
So there's that. There is this guy, the Rage Scarred Berserker. 4 and a black for the 5/4. When it enters, one other creature you control, or itself actually, gets +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn.
That's okay.
It's pretty good. Another Huntmaster. A Citizen Training, notably an enchantment and an aura. Enchant creature you control for 1 and a green. When it enters, we draw a card. An enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and trample.
Drawing a card and trample.
For 2 mana and 1 power.
Yeah, that's really good.
It is very good, and it's an enchantment. And it's a green pip for devotion. All those fun things. And a Warbriar Blessing, also an enchantment, also for 2, with a green pip, etc. But enchant creature you control when it enters, enchanted creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control, and this gives the creature +0/+2. So it gives it 2 more toughness, and it lets it fight.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yes. So there are some
How
good.
do I choose?
So there's some good enchantments. You've got Warbriar Blessing, Citizen Training, and Minions Return.
Yeah.
And then another Huntmaster if you want it, and Rage Scarred Berserker if you want that as well. But
I want to say the Minions Return just because I feel like I don't know.
okay, so the problem, quote unquote, which isn't really a problem, with Minions Return is that you need to know that you will have a way to kill the thing that this is on. Like if you put this on your opponent's thing and then they just beef it up, then it's just kind of sitting there. Like it'll count towards your Black Devotion, which is kind of nice, but like it's not at that point, it's not as impactful as this or this. And
I was thinking if you put it on one of your own creatures, then they just kill your other stuff and don't kill that one.
depending on what you put it on. If you put it on this, they're probably still going to have to kill it anyway.
Yeah.
Because this thing is very powerful and scary. If you put it on this, they probably don't care. Right? Like it's just a 3/2 creature. And actually they'd actively not want to kill it because then it would come back and its devotion thing would go off and kill something. So, yeah. If you put it on this and don't have a way of it dying, like you could put it on this and attack aggressively with it, and either they're blocking it with like chump blockers every turn, or they're taking 3 every turn, which eventually will need to be answered. So like that's the kind of thing that you could do is like try to save your Nylea's Forerunner by like spreading out your threats and like putting it on the Katoba Pass. So that's the kind of pros and cons to Minions Return.
Okay.
It does have flash. So if you're in a combat situation or they use a kill spell on your creature and you have 3 mana left open because you're like, well, if they try to kill my thing, I'll just put Minions Return on it.
Yeah.
That's why it has flash, is so that you can do stuff like that.
That's awesome. I think if it didn't have flash, it would be a lot less alluring to me.
Sure. Okay, so you want to try it?
Yeah.
Let's give it a try. Why not?
I really hope that we see another Citizen Training, though.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things in this pack for us. Again, I have always said I don't love the uncommon sagas, but let's look at this one. The Binding of the Titans, 1 and a green for an enchantment saga. Each player, you and your opponent, put the top 3 cards of their libraries into their graveyards. Okay, so you could give your opponent escape cards or fuel their escape, but you could be doing it for yourself as well. The second chapter, exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. That could be yours, your opponent's, or both. One of each.
Okay.
For each creature card exiled this way, you gain 1 life. So what you're basically going for there is like, I'm going to exile your 2 escape things. But don't forget they have a turn knowing that it's coming up if they want to escape things. But this is 2 mana, so you might be able to do it early enough where they wouldn't have the mana or the cards in their graveyard for it. And the third chapter, return a creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. It's,
It's fine.
Sure. If there's nothing else.
Cheap.
Right. Yeah, and it's a legendary enchantment. We talked about that.
Oh.
for we didn't take it, but if we end up coming across another Altar of the Pantheon, this would incidentally give us like 3 life over the course of the turns that it's on the field, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, if there's nothing better, we could take this.
Okay.
But there are lots of other things because this is only pick 3 of pack 2. Wolf Willow Haven.
Ooh.
1 and a green, so this is also 2 mana for an enchantment, but this is an enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green. So we could put this on one of our swamps, and it could add black-green, or we could put it on a forest, and it would add green-green. Then we could tap 4 and a green at any point, sacrifice Wolf Willow Haven, and make a 2/2 green wolf creature token, and we can only do that during our turn. So like at some point later when we don't need the extra mana, when it's like late enough in the game, we can tap 5 at any point, our turn, end of our opponent's turn. Only on our turn. Important. But we can sack this, not the land, just the enchantment, and get a 2/2 wolf out of the deal.
That's cool.
It's not bad.
That wolf is cool. He's got like druid tattoos or something on him.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. We've got another Grim Physician,
He's cool.
another Rage Scarred Berserker. We have taken neither of these, by the way. I'm just saying another because we've seen them both.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, another Skull of Grove Dancer, which we also didn't take. We have 2 new ones. We have the Nyxborn Colossus, 6 mana for a 6/7. It is an enchantment. It has 3 green pips for devotion.
Jeez.
And
That's true.
yes, and the Hyrax Tower Scout, 2 and a green for a 3/3. So 3 mana 3/3, pretty good. When it enters the battlefield, untap target creature. So you could like play this post-combat after you've attacked with something that you'd also like to be back as a blocker, and you can play this and untap it on your second main phase after you've attacked.
There are a lot of options here.
Well, which ones can you eliminate outright? Are there any where you're like, or at least like that one's not as good as some of these other things?
Yeah, like, I don't know, that scout one maybe. I don't know.
So you would eliminate this one for now. That's fine. This may come back. Don't forget, this is pretty early on.
Yeah.
Okay, so no to the Scout. So you've got like Grove Dancer, Colossus, Grim Physician, Rage Scarred, Wolf Willow, Binding.
I feel like we kind of have a decent amount of bigger stuff, so maybe not the Colossus.
Okay.
And I don't really love the Grove Dancer.
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay, no, that's fair. So you've eliminated these 3. I have no warnings for you having done any of that. So Berserker, Physician, Haven, Binding. What are you thinking about those?
I don't know. Help me out here.
Okay. So we have a 6, a 5, a 5, a 4, a 4, and then 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1. So with our top end here being what it is, we've got 3 5s, or 2 5s and a 6, which is not very high end, but like if we see this come around and it's the only other thing, or this, then we're going to probably take them. Wolf Willow Haven is a way to allow us to ramp into that sooner. Okay. This is a 2-drop thing. So you play it on turn 2 on one of your lands, and then on turn 3 you have 4 available mana.
Nice.
So you just jump up to like Nyxborn Marauder, Nylea's Huntmaster, and then the turn after you've got Gary, Forerunner, or, and then the turn after Kotobopaz.
Yeah. Quickly
enough. Or Colossus or something. Right. So this helps you get to that point, especially if you do end up taking something like this, then you have 3 green pips. That might be a little bit harder to do. I mean, it looks like right now we're a little bit heavier black, but we're leaning a lot more towards green as time goes on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this one's pretty good.
Okay.
I think that, as I said, Grim Physician is not, like, super necessary. It's just a fine card, and as a 1-drop, it's not bad. I told you, I don't love these. Yeah. I really don't. This takes way too long to do anything. We have 1 escape card so far, which is a great card.
Yeah.
But it's not worth milling ourselves and our opponents for it.
No.
So I really don't like this as much.
Okay.
So if we're down to this, and this, like this is a fine card, but it's our top end, and we want to be able to cast our top end first.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that fair?
Wolfhaven it is.
Okay. So we have a couple of options. So there's another Grove Dancer.
Okay.
There's another Plummet.
Okay.
There is if we want to try and splash, which would be a little scary, but I guess we could try it. There is Siona, Captain of the Pyleus. 1 green white, so we need to splash white, for a 2/2 legendary creature, human soldier. When she enters the battlefield, we look at the top 7 cards of our library. We may reveal an aura from among them and put it into our hand, and the rest on the bottom of our library in a random order. Whenever an aura we control becomes attached to a creature we control, we get a 1/1 human soldier creature token. Now, this Siona is very much telling you, hey, guess what? The green and white deck, it's all about auras and putting them on your creatures. So it's probably not what we're looking to do, but I figured I'd read it to you since it's a splash of one single color.
Okay.
We have the Lampad, which we had in our Rakdos deck, the last one that we played. 1 and a black for a 1/3. You can tap 1 of any color, sack a creature that can include itself, and each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. There's the Discordant Piper, 1 and a black for a 2/1, and when it dies, we get another one of these fun goats. Okay, and then our uncommon in black is Cling to Dust, 1 black mana, instant, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, you draw a card. And it has Escape for 3 and a black, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard.
Whoa. That's a lot. I don't know.
I don't love Cling to Dust. I won't lie to you. Okay. So don't get too hung up on this card. I do not love it. I think it feels a lot like a trap. So, so I would say you should be looking at Discordant Piper, Lampad, Plummet, Grove Dancer.
Okay. Lampad?
It's a great card. It's an enchantment. It's a black pip. The cool thing about this is if you have 1 mana up and they try to kill one of your things or steal it or whatever, you can just instantly sack it and they lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. Like that's what you're trying to be able to do with this thing.
I like that.
Okay. Ooh, whoa, what?
Ooh.
Good Lord. Everything I see is like better than the last thing.
I already know what I'm taking here.
Okay, what are you taking?
Myers Grasp.
There's Myers Grasp. The only other thing I would ask that let you know about, I mean, there's Scavenging Harpy.
The Hierophant.
And there's the Hierophant, the 4 mana 3/3 Death Toucher that mills you for 3 when it comes in. But I don't think Myers Grasp was a bad choice at all. This card's great. I'm glad. I'm upset that that's still here a little. But yeah, either Myers Grasp or Hierophant are what I would say. You want Myers Grasp?
Read them again.
So the Hierophant is a 4 mana 3/3 Death Toucher, and when it enters, we mill the top 3 cards of our library.
Oh.
Myers Grasp is 2 mana enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -3/-3. It's an enchantment. It's a black pip if it stays around.
I like Myers Grasp.
And it's like the only kill spell we have right now, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay. Myers Grasp it is. Nothing wrong with that. Would you look at that?
Huh.
Would you look at that?
Oh, what is that?
So it is the Acolyte of Affliction. 2 green-black, no splashing here, for a 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then you may return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand.
Ooh.
So again, this kind of indicates to you that it wants to be in more of an escape deck because it's milling you, but you're also getting something back. And again,
Right.
it can get back something that was just put in there with itself if you like don't have anything in your graveyard.
Or it can get back something really good that wound up in there.
Correct. Yeah. Or you can get another kind of kill spell on a creature, Devotion to Black.
I don't think we need 2 of those. I barely like the one we have.
Okay. All right. And there's the aspect of Lamprey as well.
Yeah.
With the lifelink, and they discard 2 cards, and it's an enchantment creature. All right. So A, B, or C. What are you thinking? Aspect, Blight Breath, or Acolyte?
The Acolyte is cool. But the Lamprey...
I think if you're saying no to this, then I would say this is better than this.
Okay.
For me personally.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, would you look at that? There's also Funeral Rites, which is not bad. 2 and a black for a sorcery. You draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and then mill yourself for 2. So there's 4 mana Aspect or 3 mana Funeral Rites.
Oh. Make them big again.
Sure, sorry. So Funeral Rites is 2 and a black for a sorcery. You draw 2, lose 2, and mill 2. Drawing cards is quite good.
Yeah.
Then you've got Aspect of Lamprey, 3 and a black for an enchant creature. Enchant creature you control. Your opponent discards 2 cards, and then that creature has permanent lifelink as long as this is on it.
I feel like I like that one better than the Funeral Rites.
Okay.
But I feel like you would say that you like Funeral Rites better.
I would say that drawing cards is one of the best things that you can do in Magic the Gathering. But if you think that... Because having your opponent discard 2 cards is also card advantage.
Yeah.
It just gives them less to do and you less to do because you've played 1 less card. Whereas if you draw 2 cards, it gives you more to do. You know what I mean? Like it's fair that it would be a little bit of both. This is not an enchantment and it's not a black pip. This is an enchantment and a black pip. So if that's something that leads you...
I really like the Lamprey.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. This is your deck. I want you to try stuff out. So Aspect of Lamprey it is. Not a problem at all. Whoa.
Oh.
Okay. Well, there's an Omen or a Hierophant or a Thaumaturgist Familiar. 3 mana, 1/3 flyer. And when it enters, you scry 1.
What's the Omen again?
1 black with flash, so you can play it whenever. When it enters, return a creature from your graveyard to your hand, and as with all omens, you can tap 3, sack it, and scry 2.
I like that.
You do? Over the Hierophant?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't... The Hierophant... The Hierophant mills you. I mean...
Sure.
I'm not trying to do mill shit. I'm not trying to do escape.
Sure.
Like, we're gonna end up with some escape cards, yes, but that's not my goal here.
Okay. And again, Omen can sit around as a black devotion as well.
Yeah.
And it's the same amount of devotion as the Hierophant, and it's an enchantment.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
I mean, at some point, when we look at our curve, we might have to sit there and say, hey, we need some more freaking creatures. But I don't know. How are we looking on creatures?
Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This can make 1 technically, but it'll be so much later in the game, so still 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, because it makes the goat technically, but that's not really an attacker, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh,
So
okay.
pretty good on
We're
creatures.
good.
I mean, not that we don't need any more, but like that's a fine number of creatures so far.
Yeah,
so this
'cause
is
I
not
would
a...
prefer the Omen.
You got it. Well, I guess we get that plummet.
I like plummet.
But you could get our bronze sword though.
No. I
Plummet
like
it
plummet.
is. That's fine. Hey, Setessan training.
Yes.
Or the Rage Guard Berserker.
Setessan's training.
You got it. Well, Amy, I don't think we have any picks out of this pack. I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. What am I going to do? I think the position.
Okay, we finally get that one drop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it crazy that I'm picking that one?
Not at all. I mean, again,
But-
high drop,
Yeah.
low drop that you don't love, low drop that's better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I prefer the low drop, I think, because
Sure.
I think we've got a lot of upper stuff. And
Sure.
I don't want a super, super, super high drop, because I'm just always afraid that you're never going to get to that point.
Well, the Katoba Pass is also 6. Like,
Right.
you kind of want to get here with this. This is triple green. Like, the Wolf Willow Haven will help a little bit with that, but... And we're pretty even between the two, I would say, at this point.
Yeah.
The two colors.
Yeah, I think we're okay on pips.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point we're a little bit more worried about the intricacies of where our deck could take us.
Sure. Well, and don't forget, we're almost certainly going to have to make cuts because
Right.
there's no land in here yet, and we're at 23, which is how many you need. So,
Okay.
And we still have a whole pack to go.
Oh, all right. So, yeah.
So, physician we take, we get another plummet. I mean,
Okay.
realistically, both go in the sideboard. Well, now you've got the Grove Dancer or another Thief.
The Grove Dancer.
Okay. And the Rumbling Sentry goes in the sideboard. Pack 3, are you ready?
Yes.
Well,
Oh.
hell yeah. Okay. So there's another Wanderer if you want to get nuts.
Okay.
There's another Myers Grasp.
Ooh.
There is a Moss Viper, 1/1 Death Touch for 1. Another Huntmaster. Another Discordant Piper. Did we take the first one? No, we did not.
No, we didn't.
But it's available. Or the first Iroan Games. 2 and a green for the first for a saga. Chapter 1, you get a 1/1 white human soldier, this lady here, creature token. Chapter 2, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control.
That sounds amazing.
Any creature. So, I mean, the flavor of this card wants you to put it on the soldier, but you don't have to. You can put it on anything you have.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw 2 cards.
Oh.
And Chapter 4, create a gold token, which is sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. So that one is not as good.
Yeah, no, especially since that's the 4th point of the saga.
But
when it's that late in the game, you wouldn't need mana.
No, but that's not the point, right? That's for flavor.
The rest of it.
The
is
first
great.
3 chapters are insane.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Okay, you want to take this one?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the only things that stand out to me are the second Wanderer and the Myers Grasp.
Right.
But
I love
this
the
is
Myers
better.
Grasp, but that is way better.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, well, we've got this girl that you love.
I do like that art a lot, but I don't know that she's a good card.
All right, well, so let's talk about some things. First of all, we could have a second Birth of Meletis
No.
here. We should have taken the first one, and now it's taunting us
Yep.
by telling us that we should take the second
You're
one.
right. We should have taken both of them because then it would be 2 less sideboard things that, 2 less cards to cut when we have to figure out the deck.
There's also another Forerunner in this pack. There is Enemy of Enlightenment.
Ooh.
5 and a black for a 5/5 flying enchantment creature demon.
Oh my god.
But it gets -1/-1 for each card in your opponent's hands.
Oh.
At the beginning of your upkeep, each player, yourself and your opponent, discards a card.
No, thank you.
Okay. Destiny Spinner is 1 and a green, so 2 mana for a 2/3, which is already incredible. It is an enchantment creature, so that's helpful.
Yes.
Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered.
Oh.
And for 3 and a green, target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control, and it is still a land.
So what's the downside to this card?
When your land becomes a creature, if that creature dies in any capacity, your land is destroyed. So your land would go to the graveyard. So there's only there's only technically this is 2 mana. So if you do this as soon as you get to 4, like if you use its ability as soon as you get to 4, you only have 4 mana. We have 5 and 6 drops like crazy in here. Yeah. So you do have to be conservative a bit with how you're throwing your lands out there. Like if you have 3 or 4 enchantments, you're like, great, I could have a 3/3 or a 4/4 creature for 4 mana. Yeah, but if they have any way to kill it, like double blocking
then
or something like that.
Nothing and no mana.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And that land has to be untapped for you to be able to attack with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's an amazing card.
It's very good. You just have to, you asked what the downside was. So that's the downside, is that your lands, being creatures, can die. And if that happens enough times, you're probably, all you really have to do is then just stop using that ability. But, it's still a 2/3 for 2.
I'm sorry. That's a great card. I
Sure.
think that's what we pick.
Okay. More than the Grim Physician. There's the Underworld Charger as well.
Oh, what does that one do?
3/3 for 3, can't block, and it has escape if 5 mana, 3 other cards, and it comes back as a 5/5 that can't block.
Nah.
And there's the Forerunner as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, we're
Destiny
picking
Spinner.
the yeah.
You got it.
Ooh,
Jesus.
a spider.
All
I
these
love my
packs.
spiders.
Okay, well, it's got escape, though. But it's 1 green mana for a 1/2 creature with reach, because spiders almost always have reach.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. It has escape, 3 and 2 green, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, but it escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. So it would be a 4/5 when it escapes.
I love spiders, but I don't really like that card so much.
Fair enough. You have this uncommon as well.
Ooh, I haven't seen this before.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's uncommon. I haven't seen it a ton, but I've seen it.
Okay.
But it is 4 and 2 green for a 4/4 creature, Centaur Warrior. When it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control.
I feel like that's kind of expensive. Well, it's a 4/4, but
Yep, and it's double green if it lives the fight
yeah.
for pips. We don't have to worry about this because we're not going to splash for it. There's another Wardens, which we already have 2 of, right? Yep.
Oh yeah.
1 Citizen Training, which we already have
Yes.
1 of, and the Altar of the Pantheon, which we were talking about as well.
I don't think we took the training.
We
do
did take.
have one.
We have 1 training. We have no altars.
We have no altar.
We did not take the altar,
All right.
but we've got 2 green uncommons, Wardens, altar, or training.
Oh no. I still want the altar, but I don't. It's kind of sad that that's what I want out of this.
Yeah, I mean, the altar could come back, or we could have it in a different... This is only pick 3 of this pack. Like, you've still got 2 uncommons in your
Like,
colors.
Citizen Training is really good.
Yes, but that came pretty late last time as well. If you recall. That was like 3rd to last pick in the last pack.
I don't love this spider
Okay.
or this other fight thing.
Okay. All right, so you're toying between these 2?
Yeah.
All right, so which one stands out to you more?
I mean, I guess the training.
Okay.
It's better.
Okay. That's fair. We have Elspeth's Nightmare, which I can talk about with you in a second. We have another Lampad,
Okay.
a Relentless Pursuit, which we did not take earlier, or another Skola Grove Dancer.
No.
But let's look at the Nightmare. 2 and a black for a saga. First chapter, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less.
Okay.
Second chapter, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it, and that player discards that card. And then chapter 3, you exile your target opponent's library. Or graveyard. Wow, library would be disgusting. Sorry.
Yeah.
Graveyard.
Okay. I like that.
You do?
Yeah.
More than the Lampad, the
think
Pursuit,
so.
and the Grove
Yeah, I
Dancer?
think so.
Okay. Not a problem at all. Oh, look, Amy.
Thank God.
Ooh, so there's an altar, a plummet, or a voracious typhon.
Ooh.
2 and 2 green for a 4/4 snake beast
That sounds good.
with escape for 5 and 2 green.
Ugh.
Exile 4 other cards from your graveyard, but it escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it, so it is a 7/7 creature if it
That
escapes.
sounds good.
It's very good.
All right, let's pick that because we already have a opponent.
Good call. There is another Destiny Spinner.
Okay.
There is a Gift of Strength, and that's it.
What's Gift of Strength?
+3/+3 and reach until end of turn for 1 and a green instant speed.
I like that actually.
Over a second Destiny Spinner?
Yeah, I don't think we need 2 of those.
Okay. Okay. There's Inspire Awe, which no. Wings of Hubris, which is an option. There is the Petitioner up there. I don't not see it. 2 mana, Wings of Hubris for an equipment. Equip 1, so you pay 2 to play it, 1 to equip. Equipped creature has flying. You can sacrifice the Wings of Hubris. An equipped creature can't be blocked this turn, but you have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Okay? And the Petitioner is 1 green for a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green, which is at minimum 2, because this will have 2 pips when it comes in.
That's good.
You like it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Amy, again, not many options for us here, but we'll try. There is an Enemy of Enlightenment. We didn't take the first one.
I'm not getting that guy.
There's a Clothis' Design again. The +X to your team, where X is your devotion to green for 6 mana. So you didn't take the last one. You said you didn't love it.
Yeah.
Wardens, 1/4 reach Constellation. Colossus, 6 mana, 6/7 enchantment creature, 3 green pips. And another Skirmisher. 1 and a green for 2/1 Constellation. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn when enchantment enters.
Oh, God. I don't know. What do you recommend?
Well, I don't know that you've ever tried it before because you've said you don't love it, but this is a flyer. You did mention before taking flyers is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus,
it costs 6, and there's so much downside to that card.
Well, you do have this aspect. When it enters, target opponent discards 2 cards. And this gets -1/-1 for each card in your opponent's hands. It's up to you. That's where it's good, is when you can couple it with stuff like that. And God forbid you ever put this on this, and then you give this flyer lifelink, and you make them discard 2 cards automatically, where they thought that it wasn't going to kill them or something.
You need to stop talking. Make me warm over here.
That is what's known as Magical Christmas Land. It's a 2-card combo in a draft deck that you're almost certainly not going to get often, but it could happen. But, if you play this earlier in the game or something, right, and you make them discard 2 cards, now they're just automatically down on cards often. And, usually what you would do against a card like this is you're like, all right, well, I'm going to, stonewall my lands in my hand, right, so that this thing can't get any bigger. But at the beginning, it saves itself with that by saying at the beginning of our upkeep, each player discards a card. That's us and our opponent. But there's no downside to us playing out our whole hand every turn. Because then when it comes back to our upkeep, before we've drawn a card, if we have no cards in our hand, we can't discard, but our opponent can. So that's kind of what you have to do with this thing. You're right. It takes a lot to make it work, but if it works, you have a 5/5 flyer.
All right. I'm open to that.
Okay, I mean, again...
Especially since we're in the 3rd pack, and we've already got 32 cards on our deck here.
Which means we need 9 cuts? 10 cuts? Now that we take that? Okay, there's the other Wanderer came back.
Okay.
Or a 1/1 Death Touch for 1.
I like that one, too.
Or a 2nd Huntmaster.
I kind of like the 1/1 Death Touch for
okay.
1.
I don't hate this card either.
You can just stick that right out there.
Sure. Yeah. And you can start attacking with it early, or you can leave it back as a blocker.
Thing that you ever need to do.
Sure.
You can just...
Okay.
Use a Death Touch, bitch.
I like it. Hey, look, we get a Colossus or a Physician.
Ooh.
We already have 1 Physician. We do, and we have no Colossus.
Fine, we can take the Colossus just so that we have it.
Okay.
I don't think we'll use it, but then we'll have it.
Well, you can get your Spider.
Yeah,
or like a 3rd Nexus Wardens.
Oh. That seems dumb. Fine, I'll take the Spider.
Okay.
Because I like him. I just don't like him for our deck.
Well, Grove Dancer, I guess. This is our 2nd Grove Dancer.
And I don't even like it.
Yeah. All right, you want to just put it straight in the sideboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plummet.
A 3rd Plummet.
Okay.
Flying Decks Beware. And a Glory Bearers, which we will not be playing. Okay, it's time to make a deck. This is our sideboard. Let's swap. Okay. Well, let's look at our curve, first of all.
Okay.
Yeah, our 2 is crazy. 12 2-drops, 9 3-drops, and then 5 4s, 2 5s, and 3 6+.
I actually really like that curve.
So do I. Okay, well, but we still have to make 13 cuts.
Oh, God, that's disgusting. All right, well...
Okay. First of all, there's a Plummet in here, so let's cut that for now.
Okay.
Gift of Strength as well?
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
You said you didn't like this as much?
No, yeah.
Okay, so we'll get rid of that. But we're good with Grim Physician, Moss Viper, and 2 Omens of the Dead for now?
Yeah.
Okay, we might be able to come back, but you like Lampad?
Yeah.
Temple Thief?
Yeah.
You do?
Well, maybe we take that out for now.
You said you don't love it.
Yeah.
Destiny Spinner? We only have the 1.
Yeah.
Wanderer? You still like?
We definitely want that.
Skirmisher?
Maybe that's one that we sideboard. I don't know.
All right, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Grove Dancer?
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with Grove Dancer.
You got it. Myers Grasp? 2 Setessan Trainings.
Yeah, that's a really good card.
Sure. Okay, so we'll keep them both.
Yeah.
Haven?
Yeah.
Okay. Liar?
Yes.
First Arrow in Games?
Yes.
Minions Return?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I don't know.
Okay. That's fine. Again, like I said, you can try it out. We can always swap in between matches and in between games as well during sideboarding.
Okay.
Elspeth's Nightmare?
I like that one, yeah.
Petitioner? Gain life equal to your devotion to green for 3?
I do like that one.
Okay.
Actually. I think I think that's only helpful, like, if you're about to lose, I feel like, but...
I mean, it's a 3-mana 2/2. Like, if you play it early on... If you play it early on, you just get at least 2 life. Like, you just bump yourself up a little bit. Like, it feels pretty good to be at, like, 23, you know, when your opponent's at, like, 20 or 18 or something. But that's fine. You can keep it. We can get rid of it. It doesn't matter. We've got 2 Nexus Wardens.
Do we need to?
It's up to you. It's a 1/4 with reach, and when we play an enchantment, if this is on the field, we gain 2 life.
Yeah, see, that to me feels much more like a life gaining throughout playing kind of card. Whereas the Petitioner, I feel like, is like a bail yourself out when you're about to die card.
Okay, so do you want to get rid of one of these or this one then?
Yeah, maybe.
So which? One of the Wardens? The Petitioner, okay. And keep both Wardens?
Yeah, I think so.
We got the Woe Strider.
Definitely want that.
Makes sense. Scavenging Harpy.
Definitely want that.
Makes sense as well. There's a 4/3. It's got 2 black pips and it's an enchantment.
Okay. He's pretty good.
Okay. We've got the Huntmaster, also a 4/3, but this gives a creature you control +X/+O until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green when it enters. 4 mana 4/3.
Pretty good.
Voracious Typhon. 4 mana 4/4 can escape as a 7/7 for 7.
Yeah, that's an amazing card.
Acolyte of Affliction enters, mills you for 2, and then you can return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand. Aspect of Lamprey. Gary. Nylea's Forerunner.
Yeah.
Enemy of Enlightenment.
Yeah, he's a maybe.
Okay, we can get rid of him. Kotobupas.
I don't know how much I love him.
Okay, I mean, you beware of getting rid of, like, look at our black. Gary's going to be garbage.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, this is 2 black pips here. 3, 4, 5 if it's on a creature that lives. 6, 7, 8 for the 3 turns that it's around. 9 if the creature is alive. 10, 12, 14, 16, but that's it. Like, that's good, but that's it for the whole deck now. If you get rid of this, that drops it significantly.
Well, I want to get rid of the Colossus.
Colossus is gone.
All right, so what are we at?
We need 5 more cuts. We're at 45 of 40.
Yikes.
So where was the maybe? It was over here, right? Was it the Destiny Spinner, the Wanderer, the Skirmisher? It was the Skirmisher.
Yeah.
Okay, Skirmisher goes. Here's our curve still.
Oh, that's still beautiful.
Mm-hmm. We have 16 creatures and 11 non-creatures.
Wonderful.
Cool. All right, so we need 4 more cuts.
All right, that I'm leaving up to you, I think, at this point, because now I don't really know what else to do.
Gross. Okay.
Unless you want to just, like, nix the duplicates. Like, get rid of one of the omens, one of the trainings, and one of the wardens.
I want to get...
sake.
So I was going to say I want to get rid of one of the wardens regardless.
Okay.
Because Constellation gaining 2 life is fine. A 1/4 with reach is fine. That means that we want to block more.
Okay.
That 1/4 is probably not attacking that often for 1 damage. Like, it should be staying back on blocks. We also have 3 plummets in the sideboard and 2 of these total. So if we come across a deck that's heavy on flyers, we've got this that grants reach. We've got this that has reach.
Right.
We've got 3 plummets.
Right.
And 1 more of these. So no flying deck is going to be able to beat us in game 2.
Right.
Right? But if we lose to it game 1, we're like, okay, whatever. Like, we could even bring in the Enemy of Enlightenment if we wanted to.
Right.
Like, just, okay, let's load up on flyers and beat them down mercilessly. So, that's my opinion on that.
Okay. Yeah.
The Nightmare. I don't love it, but I'm biased. I don't love the uncommon sagas. If you'd like to keep it, we can keep it, and you can try it out and see how you feel with it. I could be proven wrong. The problem is, if you get this late game, it kind of sucks. Because the first chapter destroys a creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. Like, late game, they're probably not going to have too many of those. Because we're going to be attacking with, like, bigger things, and they're going to be blocking and trying to save themselves and stuff. So, like, I'm looking at it, if we get it early, it's probably great.
Yeah.
You can kill something, you can get something out of their hand that's, like, maybe too expensive for them to play, or that they're trying to hold off until you play something big enough.
We get to exile their entire graveyard, which is
Correct.
amazing because then it screws up all their escape.
Correct. But if it's too early on, they might not have a lot of escape in there. It depends.
Yeah,
It really does
that's
depend.
a good point.
So I'm okay with keeping it in. Let's give it a try.
Okay.
Okay. I might want to get rid of the Huntmaster.
I would be okay with that. I don't
Okay.
love the Huntmaster.
Okay. I like this Marauder only because we have Gary and the Blight Breath.
Yeah.
If we didn't, this would be just okay.
And the Nightmare is 1 black pip, at least.
Yes. For 3 turns. Because then
Right.
once the 3rd chapter, it goes away. Training +1/+0 and Trample, that's a fine card. I don't have any problems with that. The Spinner, you like this one, right?
Yeah, but like if you thought it wasn't good enough and wanted to sideboard it for
I'm
now.
going to try to get rid of this and the Haven
Oh, okay.
and see what happens.
All right.
If we find that we are not getting up to these, Haven comes in.
Okay.
Do we want this as our deck?
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good.
The liar, definitely.
Very good. All right. So then this is going to be our deck. We will click done, and then in the next video, you can all see us start to play some games. We are Golgari all the way
Yeah.
with our Entrancing Liar on our deck box. And yeah, this is...
The background of this is
yeah.
one of our cards.
Yeah, exactly. The Voracious Typhon as our background. I like it. So yeah, thank you all so very much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed. Please feel free to leave your opinions down in the comments below. Did you think that we made the right cuts? Did you think that we made the right picks in the draft? Please be kind, but feel free to give us your opinions. If we should have picked one thing over another thing, if we maybe like should have been a blue deck or something. There were some pretty okay blue cards going around. Should we have been part blue? Should we have been red blue? Because we saw 2 Mischievous Chimeras as well. I think we picked out pretty okay, but obviously, because I'm the one sitting here and we were making the decisions we were making. But if you have different opinions, we would love to hear from you. So, like I said, please leave that in the comments down below. You can like this video, you can subscribe, you can ring the bell for notifications, you can check out our other channels, subscribe there, and ring those bells as well. All of those things helps us out quite a bit, and obviously we really hope that you enjoy all the things that we do here on the Geek for All family of channels. So, from us here, I have been Joe.
And I'm Amy.
And as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.